In January 2025, the news cycle was dominated by a single massive victory for American retirees. The president signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law, officially killing two toxic rules, the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, GPO. The media cheered, politicians took their victory laps, and the Social Security Administration was ordered to send out billions in back pay to over 3 million retired teachers, police officers, postal workers, and their surviving spouses. We were all told the system would fix itself automatically. And to be fair, for a lot of people, it did. By mid-2025, billions of dollars had hit bank accounts. But here is the dark side of that massive government rollout, and the urgent reason I am speaking to you today. When a federal agency is forced to rush through 3 million complex recalculations, things slip through the cracks. Fast forward to today, in 2026, and the dust has settled. The automated checks have stopped going out, yet hundreds of thousands of seniors are still sitting on the sidelines, receiving the exact same reduced monthly checks they've always gotten. Worse, some received a small retroactive check but are still being shortchanged every single month. And one specific group of retirees, mostly widows and widowers, was completely invisible to the SSA's computers, meaning their massive payout is never coming unless they take one very specific manual action. My name is John, and I specialize in cutting through government red tape to protect your retirement. Today, we aren't talking about the history of the WEP or GPO that battle is won. Today is about extraction. It is about pulling your money out of a stalled bureaucratic machine. If you believe the headlines that say everyone has been paid, you are putting your own financial survival at risk. For many of you watching, your money is absolutely stuck, and the government is not going to send you a courtesy letter to tell you they forgot about you. Let's talk about the real numbers at stake here. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that repealing the GPO for survivors would increase their checks by an average of $1,190 per month. Because the law was retroactive to January 2024, a surviving spouse who missed the automatic rollout is now owed well over $22,080 in pure back pay, plus a permanent restoration of their monthly check. Even standard retirees hit by the WEP are owed an average of $360 a month, which translates to almost $10,000 in missing back pay right now. This is not pocket change. This is life-changing money that belongs to you. So let's cut to the chase. I'm going to show you the 4 specific groups of people who were supposed to be fixed by this law. Then I will expose the 3 ways the SSA's automated system failed, leaving people behind. Finally, I will give you the exact script to use on the phone and the specific form number you need to force the SSA to release your funds. Please remember, I am an educator, not your personal financial advisor or attorney, so always verify your specific situation with the SSA. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because fighting for what you've earned is what this channel is all about. Let's establish right now, if you even need to be watching this video, the core trigger for this entire mess is simple. Did you or your late spouse ever work a job where you paid into a public pension instead of paying Social Security taxes? If the answer is yes, you must keep listening. There are 4 distinct categories of Americans trapped in this bureaucratic backlog. Group 1, public school teachers. If you taught in a state that opted out of Social Security, places like California, Texas, Ohio, Illinois, Massachusetts, Colorado, Louisiana, or Georgia, and you also worked a second job in the private sector where you did pay Social Security taxes, you were hit by the Windfall Elimination Provision. Your Social Security check was slashed for decades. Group 2, first responders and state workers, firefighters, police officers, and municipal employees in those same non-covered states. If you served your community and later worked in the private sector, the government penalized you for your public service by gutting your earned Social Security benefits. 000452, Group 3, federal employees. Specifically, federal workers hired before January 1st, 1984, who retired under the old Civil Service Retirement System, or CSRS. This does not apply to the newer FERS system. If you or your spouse were CSRS, your Social Security benefits were almost certainly suppressed by these 2 rules. Group 4. This is the most vulnerable group and the one I am fighting the hardest for today. Widows and widowers. Under the old government pension offset, if you had your own public pension, the SSA reduced your survivor benefits by 2/3 of your pension amount. For countless widows, this math completely wiped out their spousal benefit. They were left with absolute zero. If you ever went to the SSA office grieving the loss of your spouse, only to be told you get nothing because of your teacher's pension or CSRS annuity, you are the exact person this video is made for. If you fall into any of those 4 groups, you are legally entitled to a massive correction. A year ago, the standard advice was just to be patient. The SSA is processing millions of files, they said. Wait your turn. My friends, the time for waiting is over. We are deep into 2026. The initial wave of automatic deposits is finished. If your check hasn't increased, it's not because you're at the back of the line. It's because you fell off the conveyor belt entirely. Let me explain exactly how the government fumbled this, so you can identify if it happened to you. When the SSA ran its massive computer sweep to remove the WEP and GPO penalties, the algorithm handled the simple cases perfectly. But the moment a file had a complex work history, a mixed pension, or an old inactive claim, the computer skipped it. The SSA's own oversight admitted that complex cases had to be routed for manual review. And manual review means a human being has to look at it, which means it gets shoved into a digital filing cabinet to collect dust. There are 3 specific ways you could be stuck in this gap right now. Gap number 1, the completely overlooked. These are seniors whose monthly check hasn't changed by a single penny. The SSA's automated system just missed their file. They never received a letter, they never received a lump sum, and they are still collecting the heavily penalized WEP or GPO amount. The danger here is the illusion of normalcy. Your check arrives on the 3rd Wednesday of the month, just like always, so you assume everything is fine. But it's not fine. You are being robbed of hundreds of dollars every month by a law that no longer exists. Gap number 2, the mirage. This is the most insidious trap of all. This is the retiree who actually received a retroactive lump sum payment in their bank account back in early 2025. They saw a deposit for $3,000 or $4,000, celebrated, and assumed the government had fixed everything. But here's the horrific reality. For tens of thousands of people, the SSA issued the back pay for 2024, but a glitch prevented the system from permanently updating their ongoing monthly benefit. So they got the lump sum, but their actual monthly check reverted right back to the old, illegal, reduced amount. If you aren't auditing your bank statements, you are bleeding money every 30 days and you don't even realize it because that initial lump sum put you to sleep. Gap number 3, the ghost claim. I am dedicating a separate portion of this video to this group because the solution is totally different. These are the widows whose survivor benefits were reduced to 0 under the old rules because they were told they would get nothing, they never formally finished filing an application, or their application was permanently closed. You see, an automated computer program can only correct an existing active claim. If you don't have an active claim in the system, the computer literally cannot see you. You are a ghost. You could be owed $30,000, and the SSA will never ever send it to you because legally they don't know you want it. So how do we fix this? How do we force the SSA to open the vault and hand over what is rightfully yours? You are going to perform a 10-minute audit on your own life, and you are going to do it this week. There is no more waiting. Step 1, you must go to ssa.gov and log into your My Social Security account. If you are 70 years old and hate computers, find a grandchild, a neighbor, or a librarian to help you. You need this account. Once you are logged in, pull up your benefit verification letter. Look at your gross monthly benefit amount. Ask yourself, is this number significantly higher than it was in December of 2024? If the number is exactly the same or only slightly higher due to the standard cost of living adjustment, you have hard proof that you were left behind. You have identified the gap. Step 2 is where we take the fight to the SSA. You're going to call the main national line at 1-800-727-1213. Do not call and just say, "Where is my money?" You will be transferred to an endless loop of confused representatives. You must use precise bureaucratic language to force them into action. When the agent answers, you say this exact phrase, "I am calling to verify the status of my WEP and GPO correction under the Social Security Fairness Act. Has my record been fully recalculated?" Write that down. If the agent tells you it is still pending, you demand a timeline, and you insist they document your call in your file. But if the agent looks at your file and says, "Oh, your case is closed, everything is correct," and you know for a fact your check never went up, you do not argue with them. You deploy the nuclear option. You say, "I disagree with this determination, and I want to file Form SSA 561, Request for Reconsideration, to secure my retroactive benefits back to January 2024. Form SSA 561 is the magic key. It takes your file out of the hands of the frontline phone operator and forces a formal legal review by a higher-level technician. Organizations like NARFE, the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association, have been begging seniors to file this exact form to protect their back pay. Filing a request for reconsideration puts a legal hold on your money and forces the agency to manually audit their own math. Now let me speak directly to the widows and widowers. I need your absolute focus for the next 2 minutes. If your spouse passed away, and the government told you that your teacher's pension or your CSRS pension disqualified you from receiving survivor benefits, everything I just said about reconsiderations does not apply to you. You cannot reconsider a claim that doesn't exist. Your path is different. Because your benefit was previously wiped out to zero, you do not have an active survivor profile for the automated system to fix. If you sit on your couch waiting for a check, you will die waiting. You must initiate a brand new, from-scratch application for survivor benefits. You cannot do this online. The SSA does not allow survivor applications over the internet. You must call 1-800-77-21213 or march down to your local Social Security field office and declare, I am filing a new application for spousal survivor benefits under the newly enacted Social Security Fairness Act. When you do this, the system will finally look at your file without the evil government pension offset dragging it down. Suddenly, that benefit that used to be zero will become $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 a month. And because the law is retroactive, they have to pay you all those monthly sums going back to January 2024. That is where the $22,080 number comes from. But you have to trigger it. The government is not knocking on doors looking for widows to hand $20,000 checks to. You must raise your hand and file the paperwork. Let's bring this all together. The passage of the Social Security Fairness Act was a monumental victory. It corrected a massive theft that had been happening to public servants for 40 years. But passing a law in Washington, D.C., and actually delivering the money to a retiree in Ohio or Texas are two completely different things. The media told you the story was over, but they said the system handled it. For millions it did. But for a critical minority of Americans, the system blinked. The computer glitched. The file got buried. You are the collateral damage of a rushed federal rollout. Whether you are the teacher who never got corrected, the firefighter who got a lump sum but is still losing money every month, or the widow who the system forgot entirely, your money is sitting in a treasury account, depreciating by the day, waiting for you to claim it. Do not let silence from the government lull you into a false sense of security. Silence does not mean everything is fine. In 2026, silence means you've been left behind. Log into your account, check your numbers, call the toll-free line, and if you have to, demand Form SSA-561 for reconsideration. If you are a widow, demand a new application appointment today. I'm asking you a massive favor right now. Look at your phone or your computer. Hit the share button on this video. Send it in an email, a text message, or post it on Facebook. Send it to anyone you know who is over the age of 60 and spent their life as a public servant. Send it to your old high school teachers. Send it to retired cops. And above all, send it to any widow or widower who used to work for the government. They are not watching the news for this anymore. They think the book is closed. Your single text message could be the catalyst that forces them to make a 10-minute phone call, resulting in a $20,000 deposit that changes the rest of their life. You have the power to fix this gap for someone you love. Once again, this video is strictly for educational purposes and does not constitute legal or financial advice. Your retirement is unique to you, and you must confirm all actions directly with the Social Security Administration or a qualified professional. The politicians did their job by changing the law. Now it is time for you to do your job and collect your money. Don't wait until tomorrow. Start your audit today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.